There are moments in life when we face giants, not always made of flesh and bone, but of fear, doubt, and impossibility. Today, let's travel back to a valley long ago, where a young shepherd boy named David faced a giant warrior named Goliath and showed the world that faith is stronger than fear. The nation of Israel was at war with the Philistines. Two armies stood facing each other across a wide valley, neither willing to move. From the Philistine side came a man taller and stronger than any soldier alive. His name was Goliath, over 9 feet tall, covered in bronze armor, with a spear like a tree trunk. Every morning and evening for 40 days, Goliath stepped forward and shouted, "Choose a man to fight me. If he kills me, we will serve you. But if I kill him, you will serve us." And every time Israel's soldiers trembled, even King Saul, a great warrior himself, stayed silent. Fear ruled the valley. Soft pause. Music quiets. Far away in the hills of Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David was tending his father's sheep. He was the youngest of 8 brothers. Small, humble, but full of courage and faith in God. One day, David's father, Jesse, sent him to the battlefield to bring food to his brothers. When David arrived, he heard Goliath's roar echoing through the valley. David looked around and saw the fear in every soldier's eyes, and he asked, "Who is this giant who dares to mock the armies of the living God?" His brothers laughed at him, calling him proud and foolish. But David's heart burned with faith, not fear. Soft, hopeful music rises. When King Saul heard about David's courage, he sent for him. The young shepherd stood before the king, unshaken, full of confidence in God. David said, "Your servant has fought lions and bears while protecting his sheep. The Lord who saved me from them will also save me from this Philistine." Saul looked at him, a boy with no armor, no sword, and saw something different. Faith, the kind of faith that moves mountains. So Saul said, "Go, and the Lord be with you." David refused the king's heavy armor. He picked up 5 smooth stones from a nearby stream, placed them in his shepherd's bag, and took his slingshot, the only weapon he knew. Music builds softly, the rhythm of footsteps, wind through the valley. David walked into the valley alone. Goliath saw him and laughed, a booming, cruel laugh. "Am I a dog," he shouted, "that you come at me with sticks?" But David stood firm and said, "You come to me with sword and spear, but I come to you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, whom you have defied." Goliath moved forward, ready to crush him. David ran toward the giant, quick and fearless. He reached into his bag, pulled out a stone, placed it in his sling, and swung it with all his might. Music intensifies, then silence for a moment. The stone flew through the air and struck Goliath right in the forehead. The giant stumbled, then fell, face down, to the ground. The battlefield fell silent. The mighty warrior was defeated by a single stone and a heart full of faith. Triumphant music swells. Drums and strings rise. The soldiers of Israel shouted with joy and ran forward in victory. But the real triumph wasn't in strength or weapons. It was in trust. David had proven that faith in God is stronger than any fear, and that no giant can stand against the power of the Almighty.